guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Spilled Coffee. Thank you so much for all your support on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for subscribing to our YouTube channel. And today what we're going to talk about is about something we all have in common.
Right.
We are all afraid of something, whether it's the dark, of being afraid of failing, of cats, of... I mean, there's a lot of...
Walking down the street, airplanes, traveling, whatever it is, everyone is...
We all have fears, unfortunately. What am I afraid of? Well, I am afraid of a lot of things, and one is I'm afraid of the dark, and I still sleep with the nightlight on.
It's a cute nightlight, though.
It's awesome, and it, you know, it scares away all the clowns and all the like night bad things. Yeah. Anyways, the reason I'm afraid of a lot of things is because I have anxiety. I have coped with it my entire life. I started when I was younger. I'm not sure why, but it just sort of built up as I started growing up, and I think a big part of it was because I was bullied. And when I was bullied as a little kid, it sort of made me realize like how real life was. And then that caused anxiety that led to me being afraid of many things. And one of the things is that like I'm a borderline hypochondriac. Borderline. And that is because, here's a story I can share. One time, her and I were taking a dance class. And
the worst mistake ever.
Yeah, and I wasn't feeling that well, and I was kind of like, oh, you know what, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm agitated, and mind you, it was all the symptoms of stress, right? Anyways, I started telling her what I was feeling, and then she started telling me, well, hey, my dad has diabetes, and blah, 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 and in my head, I was like, oh my god, I have diabetes.
Mind you though, I didn't say it because I thought she had diabetes. I was just...
I mean, clearly, like, I remember as soon as she said that her dad had diabetes, I thought I had diabetes. So we still had like a mile left to walk to this class, and the entire walk there, like, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is the end of my life. Like, I need to go see a doctor ASAP. And once we got to the class, like, I felt so sick that I didn't even dance.
No, she didn't. She was at the back of the classroom.
I stood at the back of the classroom, and I was just, I mean, I remember I started sweating, like, my heart started racing, and it was, you know, anxiety. It was just me being the anxious person that I am. And the next day, I went to the doctor, and I sat there, and I told him, look, sir, I have diabetes, and...
She knew what she had.
Yeah, like I actually told the doctor what I had. Like he wasn't gonna tell me. Like I was certain I had diabetes. So I went and I was talking to him, and then he looked at me like I was crazy, which it has happened before, and it has happened currently that I go to doctors and I tell them like, look, I have this because I do, and the doctors are like, you're crazy. Like see a therapist. And anyways, like shortly after that, I got a bunch of tests, and he told me that I had the best score for everything. He gave me my results, and he said, go frame this in your wall because you have the best like blood sugar levels and
she is the healthiest person I know. No kidding.
And I am pretty healthy sometimes, but because of my anxiety, like sometimes I prevent myself from doing things because I anticipate fear. Like I am afraid of fear itself, if that makes any sense. Like anxiety just kind of like built up this whole scenario in my head that something is gonna happen. Right. And it's something that I'm still learning to cope with it, and I think I've gotten better at it.
Yeah, she has.
With age,
really has.
Because I've done some outrageous things, and I've told her, you know, like, oh my god, like I have this, and actually one time she told me that she had a cancerous mole in her lip, and you deny this,
okay,
but she told me,
might have,
yeah, like I'm not the only one, and I'm sure you guys do this too.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean that's probably like a normal thing where people think like, I have something, you know, you watch it on TV or whatever.
Yeah, and you run with it. Like
Cynthia takes it over a lot.
I'm just like a 10% above average, the average human anxiety levels. And like I said, it's something that, because I have anxiety, sometimes I get panic attacks. And because of that, like I fear a lot of stuff. Like it's so random because I think about it now, like once I pass through that stage of being afraid, like I laugh because I'm like, really? Did I really think I had diabetes?
I want to share what I am, you know, terrified about and what keeps me up at night. And so what is it? Mine is I'm really afraid of relationships. I know that sounds weird, but the reason I'm afraid of relationships is because I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of not reaching goals. And so I always feel like a relationship is, you know, preventing me from that. And that is absolutely wrong. And I realize that. And, you know, I am consciously aware of the different things that I do when I do them, and I know like I'm doing this because I'm running away. I keep avoiding relationships, but you know what? It's not healthy. Relationships are about growing. They're about being with someone who pushes you to that next level, who's there to support you. And you know what? It's time. Right now, 2014 is that time where I've been really, you know, aware of what I'm doing, very conscious about when I'm running away. And you know what? There's no purpose of running away. Again, for the longest time, I felt like I was being selfish, you know, not telling the other person that I loved them, when in fact I did. And the reason being was that I was afraid. I was afraid of not reaching my own personal goals. And I didn't see the other person as someone who can, you know, help me or lift me up. But then again, that could be a goal. I mean, that could be a sign for you to, maybe that's not the right person. Sometimes it's not the right person, right?
But sometimes it's a 7-layer shield filled with brick, stainless steel.
That's true.
Wood, all types of thick material that you can't break through.
That's true. But you know what?
If you're watching this and you like her, just keep picking the wall and they'll break.
God. So
I know
eventually it will. But no, you know what? And you don't need to try to break it, because honestly, it's 2014 and it's changing. And even before that, life is too short. Life is beautiful. It's about taking chances,
take a leap of
taking
faith.
Risks. And I hope, honestly, when you talk about it too, it's how you dispel a lot of these fears. Accept your fears. I'm accepting my fear, and now it's time to work on it. So how do you stop fear? How do you stop fear in its tracks? We believe that one of the things that you should do is take a chance, you know, take risks.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? You're going to fail.
Yeah, and that's life. You know, you fail and you get back up and then you try again. And, you know, it makes it for a very interesting life. And really interesting stories, you know, like we've shared our stories and we look at it now and we laugh because, you know, we're like, what? Like, what? Like, really?
The other thing is to, you know, change your environment.
Yeah.
You feel stuck, get up. Get out of what you feel stuck in, you know?
Yeah. If you feel like you're not, you know, the people you surround yourself to are negative, then get out of that negative situations. Because, you know, whenever you hang out with negative people that bring you down, then that just creates a lot of fear. In whatever it is, you know, you don't really do anything with your life because you're afraid. You know, you saw a job you really like, but you're afraid of applying because...
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You don't get the job, then it's fine.
That's it.
But you went through a process, you learned about it.
Yeah. And at least you don't have that what if. Like, what if I had done this? What if I had done... Like, you know, like you talked about, like, not being able to fall in love because you're afraid.
I did fall in love.
And well, you did, yeah.
I just didn't tell a person.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, you know, you're afraid of getting your heart broken. And let me tell you that your heart will break.
Regardless
of what you do. Regardless of how gentle you are with it, it's gonna break. And I mean, heartbreak is everywhere. Whether, you know, the person you love doesn't love you back, whether you didn't get the job you wanted, that's heartbreak. Whether, you know, there's a lot of heartbreak everywhere.
So many different kind of things. One of my good friends last week told me this, and I thought it was brilliant. She said, life is really fragile, you know. So as much as we do our planning, as much as we try to figure it all out, it's so fragile that no matter what, something is going to fall apart. So why live in this insane fear of, you know, I can't do this because this is going to happen.
And
what's the purpose?
And another thing with me and like talking about like being afraid of health issues, like a life, like being afraid of I guess dying or like being unhealthy, like why live like that? Like if something's going to happen to you, it's going to happen regardless of you like doing something or not.
True.
So I learned how to, you know, take a chance and not be afraid of my anxiety and not being afraid of anticipating any fear, because that's not a life. That's not a life worth living. And we're only here for a limited amount of time. So we better make the best of it while we have it. And like I said,
so true.
Yeah. And why not? Like why be afraid? Don't be afraid. it's not worth it.
Nope.
And like I said, what's the worst thing that can happen? You know, obviously don't go do something crazy because you take precautions. You know,
I mean, safety first.
Yeah, safety first. Like, don't do anything crazy. I know, right? Disclaimer: this is not. But just like I said, don't be afraid of doing the little things. Not applying for the job. Not telling somebody you love them. You know. Not going on that trip you want to go because you're afraid that the plane's gonna fall or something, you know. I don't know. Like I said, everybody has their own fear. Everybody has their own interpretation of what fear is, and we just want you guys to, you know,
take a chance, change your environment, do something. Yeah. And ultimately, at the end of the day, regardless of what it is you believe you need to do it, and do it with a sense of empowerment. You know, believe in yourself. That's it. All you need to do is believe in yourself. You can. Our minds are so powerful. We set our goal, and as long as we are focused, we can do it. And honestly, it's about believing in yourself and believing that you are worth it. Believing that you can do it.
We know you can.
That's it.
We really do.
I believe I am stronger than my fears.
Yeah,
I believe Cynthia is stronger than her fears, and so are you.
I am. and we are. You know, our mind can create every scenario, but if we break through that, then you know we're gonna be okay. We're all gonna be okay.
Totally.
That's just it.
Yep,
it's gonna be okay.
So, believe in yourself, and remember that you are stronger than your fears.
Yes. So just remember, guys, that it's gonna be okay. We believe in you guys, and whatever it is that's stopping you from doing what you love to do, just stop it. Simple as that.
Right.
You can do it. And thanks again. Thanks again for tuning in and for supporting our channel.
We celebrate 100 plus likes this week.
Yes! Thank you so
Thanks for grabbing your coffee.
Thank you.
Until next time, grab your mug and join the conversation.
Peace.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing, it's gonna be alright.